Hi guys, this is Ishan Durani, and today is the fifth session. Today we'll be looking at these topics. Basically, there are two topics left from jQuery selectors, and then these we will go through, and then these are some actions that we will look at practically and implement, and then these events. So, without wasting any time, let's get to the job and start implementing these. So, first of all, let me just create a HTML boilerplate code. Let me create a new file and let's call it 5.html. Okay, since this is the fifth session, so let me call it 5, fifth, fifth, fifth dot html. Okay, let's get rid of some. Let's first try opening this in the browser. Post Insta, sorry, YouTube Insta. Sorry, is it called fifth dot html. So here you can see the page is open. So we want to learn table row even and table row odd. So let us create a table and then we can assign a color to the even number of rows, different color, okay? And to the odd number of rows, we can assign a different color. So let us create a table here. Let me just squeeze the HTML header tag and just deleting these HTML elements and creating a table. These are table rows 1, second column, third column. So this will be the third column and this will be the second column. So let us create 10 such table rows. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let me go back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see we created a table with 10 rows. Okay, this is one column, this is second column, and this is the third column. So let me open the developer dev tools here also, and let me see if we can add a bit of border, but that will be out of the scope of this tutorial, so let us implement that later. First of all, I want to assign a different color to even number of rows and a different color to the odd number of rows of this table. Okay, so let us try implement that with jQuery. So if I go to the bottom, this was jQuery ready section. So any code that we will enter here in the document ready, it will load on page load. Okay, so we will say jQuery tr even dot css background. Let's give a yellow background to the even number of rows. Yellow. Okay, saving it. Did you see that the even number of rows 2, 4, 6, 8, they got yellow color. In the same way, we can write PR odd number of rows. Let us give a different color. So yellow and green. Let's give it a green color, okay? And if I refresh the page, you can see the odd number of rows have got uh, green color. 1, 3. Even rows got the yellow color, and odd number of rows got green color. So these were the even and odd selectors. You can implement this technique to any HTML elements that you find in your document object model. Okay, so this was jQuery selectors. Let us go to the next section and see some of the actions that we can perform. Anything that comes after the selector, after the dot, is an action. Like hide is an action, dot show is an action. So in the same way, there is an action called remove. Okay, so you have to just understand that there are different actions that will come, you will come across. Just like the selectors, just like how we have selectors and we can traverse through different HTML elements and we can select different HTML elements through selectors, there are some different actions that you could perform. Like we learned, we can fade in things, we can fade out things, and we can hide, show instantly, we can hide or show with a delay. In the same way, there is a action called remove. And on page load, you can remove something. Like here, this statement says that you are removing a paragraph item from the page. You can attach this functionality of removing that paragraph item from your page with a button event. Okay, so let us see if we can remove that paragraph item with this statement. So I'll go there. In fact, let us if I refresh the page, you can see this is the table, and I can see a button here which is called change ahref. Change. So in the document ready, you can also add comments just above your jQuery statements to know later for the sake of debugging. Okay, this was even odd selectors. I'll create a bit of space here, and then remove something from the document object model, from the document. Okay, whenever I say DOM, it will mean the entire HTML element, entire HTML page. Okay, I will write okay, change. I want to remove this button whose class is change. So do you remember what we used for the change class? If you don't, you can just see. So it was jQuery dot change dot remove. So let's implement this and refresh our page. You can see the change ahref button is gone. So you will come across different scenarios where you will be asked to remove something dynamically from your page. So you will use this remove action. Okay, so this is something new you learned today. So just try to implement these things. It's not for memorizing, it is for practice and implementing these practically. Okay, the second thing is add something on your page, on your HTML page dynamically. How can that be done? Let's see that. So supposing I have this table. Let's give a class name to this table. My table, camel case class name. Okay, my table. So I want to add a paragraph item after the table. Add something dynamic. Add a pair. Add a button. Let's add a button uh, after the my table class. So I will write jQuery my table dot. Okay, there is an action called insertAfter in jQuery. So you'll write insertAfter. insertAfter my table. Okay, I'll just move the class name to the end, my table, and I'll write the HTML of that HTML element in the first block in the selector. Okay, we can write it like this. I want to add, button. So buttons HTML is something like this. I am a dynamic button. Okay. So we are basically injecting HTML into our page on page load. So now see, we are not adding the button physically here, but through jQuery on page load, we are adding an button after the table. So let's see if it works. I'll just refresh the page, and after this table, a button should be added. Did you see the button is added, but it is just clubbing and sticking with that table? So I can also add a bit of space. So not only the button, but space is also added. I'll refresh the page. You can see a button is added dynamically. So you learned these two actions, dynamically removing something or adding something onto your page dynamically. So this is something new that you learned today. Okay, let's move on. We have done the remove action, adding something dynamically to your page, appending something and prepending something. So appending can be if we have a table, we can append a new row here. So supposing if I can add append a row, it will come to the end of the table. It will be added after the last row of the table. And so let's see if we can append a new row with some new data here at the end of the table. I can also show you this table in the dev tools. So let us add a new row here. Okay, after this. So I will write my jQuery like this. Uh, in the document ready, I will write jQuery. So what's the table name? My table. But you can write it like this. TR. Guys, you can write the name of the direct selector, or you can write it like this. Dot my table. So where do you want to append? Let's see the HTML structure. I'll squeeze all the table rows. Create a bit of space here. So in the table there is a block called t body, and in the t body, have I added t body or is it just rendering it on its own? I guess it's rendering it on its own. So I'll say t body here, closing the t body tag. Now when I refresh now, okay, this is t body. So we want to append to t body. So let's see how we can do that. Going to the jQuery block, we say jQuery. So we are appending something to the table, to the last row, adding something after the last row. We'll write it like this. Quotes. It's a table row. Table row has a three columns. Okay, one column, second column, and third column. This is the second column, and then the third column. So I'll write the word new in it. new one, appended one. Let's call it appended one. Appended one, appended two, appended three. Okay. So basically, this is the HTML that we want to append to that table. So there is a command called append. Append to what? Append to the T body. So we can write it like this: my table, and then this greater than sign show that the next selector is the child of my table. Okay, just keep this in mind, please. So I'll say T body and add a semicolon at the end. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, guys, did you see that we are able to dynamically append a row to an HTML table? Isn't this great? So I'm just going through all these things pretty quickly because there is a lot we need to cover. So I would suggest that you keep on implementing these along the lecture. Just stop the lecture, implement this, render it in the HTML page in your browser. So this is how you will become master in jQuery. Okay. So we have learned append. If there is append, there is also another command called prepend. Prepend means not adding it at the bottom of the list, but adding it at the top of the list. So let's implement that. Basically, prepend is the reverse, the opposite of append. Okay. So guys, I'm just implementing these things for you without any practice. It is all my 24 years of experience, and with that experience, I'm able to reproduce these things for you, just for your learning sake. And I just want to impart all this knowledge that I have gained through these years in jQuery especially. Okay, so I'll just copy this row. So I'll say prepend 2. Okay, let's see what happens. Not appended, but prepended. Prepended 1, prepended 2, prepended 3. Okay, let's implement this and refresh the page. Now we should get a row here on the top of the table as well. Did you see that it worked? Isn't this amazing? And our even and odd number of rows are still highlighted the way they should be. So this is something new you learned. You have learned append, prepend, and then what is insertAfter? So let's think of a scenario, and using the insertAfter command or action, you can call it. If I look at this page, let's add something after this h1 element. Okay, insertAfter, using the insertAfter action. So what I will do is going back to the uh, document ready block. Document ready block is the most important thingy in the jQuery. I will write something like this, that I have one h1 element. I will say jQuery h1 insertAfter. So I will, okay, I will write it the HTML of the element first. So I think let's add a button. So I will say, or let's add a paragraph, let's add a paragraph, add a bit of lorem ipsum text, dummy text into it. I'll say insert after what? H1 element. If there are 10 HTML H1 elements on our page, this text will be added after all the H1 elements. So I will tell you in 1 minute how you can pinpoint a particular H1 element and add only after that. So we have added that statement. Let me refresh the page and let's see if it worked or not. No, it didn't. So this was our H1, and I tried adding this, but for some reason, guys, it didn't work. Okay. So I guess we can do it different. Okay, it did add, but it didn't add the text with it. Do you see a P is added here? Okay, but it didn't assign any text. So the reason could be that we are using the different quotations, these brackets. So it didn't like the syntax. So let me see if it works now. Okay, for some reason it didn't work. Let us see. Okay, there is a typo and there is a closing of that paragraph missing, guys. So I've just added that, refreshing the page. Wow, you can see, boom, it worked. It added a paragraph item after the H1 element. Okay, isn't this great? With the passage of time, you're becoming skillful in jQuery. You are making these dull and static pages very, very dynamic and interactive. So this is something new you learned. So guys, these were the 5 actions that you can perform with jQuery that we learned today. So I guess let's cover the events in the next lecture, because we covered these 5 actions and then these 2 jQuery selectors. So, and the video is getting really big. So I don't want to make too many big videos so that you just become bored. I just try to grab the ideas and don't seek bookish knowledge from me. Rather, install XAMPP in your Windows. Guys, these are very lightweight applications, and write your code. Use some good code editor. I use this Visual Code Studio or Notepad++. Notepad++ is my personal favorite. Implement the code in that and switch on your XAMPP. Here is the XAMPP. XAMPP is a freeware open source software that you can install. Write your code and test the code in your Chrome browser. That's it, guys. There's no heavy software installation required for learning jQuery. And you can start your professional career like this very easily. Okay, and I have a inshallah, I have a target of making more than 100 videos for you, specifically focused on jQuery. So this will be all the experience that I gained from my job and for my other research related to jQuery. I'll be teaching that. I'll be teaching how you can interact with databases and APIs. Okay, guys. So I'm taking you slowly. These are the things that we learned today. Uh, 5 actions and these 2 jQuery selectors. In the next lecture, I will jump onto the events. Okay, and then we can explore what different dynamic events we can uh, implement with jQuery and make our pages more interactive and appealing for everybody. Okay, thanks for watching. Just quitting the video. Please, I'm putting a lot of effort, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. Thank you.